Welcome back, everybody, to Worlds 2018, and our next matchup, it is going to be, oh, no, I forgot it. Gen G versus Cloud9. That's actually the way to intro the game. It's just so, you don't know what's going to happen, you don't even know the game.
It's true.
But after last game, do we actually know what's going to happen? Vitality came out huge. Now it's up to Gen G and Cloud9. Can Cloud9 stir things up here? 1 and 2 for both teams is obviously the wins are important, especially coming into the back half of these round robins.
Okay, well, let's take a look here. Starting in Champ Select, they're banning the Kai'Sa already away from Sneaky. It is something that Cloud9 have used, and I do think the bottom lane is going to be exceedingly important for this matchup because Ruler is one of the best players on Gen G.
So, percent chance on Sneaky Draven.
Not quite 70.
Okay.
But it increased after watching that last game.
Right. If you want to try and go for winning bot lane.
Also, there was a tweet from Reaper.
Ah, he got banned.
Okay, well, 0% chance now. There was a tweet from Reaper just yesterday where he had a very similar opinion on how to play the game. Kind of like we just saw from Vitality of taking a lot of fights, not being afraid to make mistakes or lose a couple of them. He tweeted out that there was a similar philosophy here for the Cloud9 squad. They also have a lot of rookie players, and they're also looking to play aggressively.
Now, a lot of the big first picks are available right now. Urgot, you know, things like Xayah are here. We have Aatrox as another possibility. I think Urgot is normally what we get here. Like they hover Aatrox and then they swap it back to Urgot. In this case, could also be Xayah if they actually value this with all the AD carry bans.
I do think that an Urgot for Licorice is a huge pick for Cloud9. Licorice has been an absolute all-star. He's one of the guys in their rookie year that has really impressed for Cloud9, and that is the go-to pick for the top lane right now.
It's pretty ridiculous how much aggression he can absorb, but also play situations correctly that he's first time approached with. He just really understands what to do each and every time. This time it will be a Nocturne pick, but they may still go ahead and grab his top laner.
So I know both, you know, Kobe and of course myself, we are big fans of Nocturne right now on stage.
Of course. I like Nocturne.
Oh, Riv is also a fan of Nocturne.
Hey.
Good. I didn't want to pull you in before I knew if you actually liked him or not. But Nocturne right now for a lot of teams have become a really strong pick because of just his ulti. The fact you have 6 seconds of, you know, giant vision advantage for your team in fights is so huge, and it's so hard for traditional team fighting teams to deal with because they don't know what's going on when a fight breaks out. So I actually really like the pick early, especially against a team like Gen G because they lost to Kikis Nocturne earlier in this tournament.
And especially Cloud9 in the North American LCS, the regular season this year, they were one of the teams that first used this specific combination. With Shen, Nocturne, it kind of shores up some of Nocturne's weakness of later in the game diving into the enemy team and not having defenses. Ooh. When the Shen comes with you, you can chain your CC off of that and get the taunt. But we already have some very interesting pick ban phase alterations.
Yeah, so obviously C9, a lot of changes compared to what we see from other teams like Shen, Nocturne getting picked this early. Sivir comes in because of AD carry bans and she sees Xayah Rakan, so she wants to have the spell shield and the push. But it is a hard lane for Sneaky, it's a pretty risky one. I just want to highlight though, Urgot is not picked in this fan.
This is the longest all of Worlds where we have seen Urgot go in the ban phase.
And I don't know if we're really going to be seeing him this game. We do have the Aatrox. Obviously, we've seen it flex a bit. Shen could be support, but this is crazy talk now for considering what really is going to happen for these teams. And yeah, Urgot not picked. Final ban here could be also targeted at Jensen from Phase 2 Gen G Esports bans.
Okay, leave it open again.
Zillion.
So C9, they do have the chance to pick the Urgot here if they want. I expect then the Aatrox to go top lane against him. It's a matchup a lot of Korean top laners have taken, like Aatrox versus Urgot specifically, but no, it's LeBlanc.
They very well could have some sort of secret pick as well in preparation for this. I do like an early LeBlanc for Jensen. It's one of the mages where you can blind pick and count on your skill matchup. Plus, it has the threat of a Nocturne as the jungle.
Yeah.
That is huge for a mid lane assassin like LeBlanc.
And that's actually why I don't like the Syndra pick here. I think LeBlanc is one of the good answers against Syndra because of the gank setup you do have. And as you highlighted with Nocturne, also Shen, Syndra has no mobility at all. She gets caught out so easily past the laning phase. I think that just gave C9 a lot of ways to punish Crown, who, when he played Syndra against the Vitality Nocturne, had a really poor game.
And you just grab Skarner into a double spell shield team to start. Nocturne and
VNA,
Sivir
baby.
have it. Hecarim for Licorice. I believe going towards that top side. He played that into Aatrox during, what is it, the Gauntlet?
Yep.
Regionals coming in, so that worked out very well for him, and we're going to see him gallop into the top lane in this game on Hecarim.
These are some vintage Cloud9 picks that we have right here. Licorice has put a lot of practice into the Hecarim, specifically into the Aatrox matchup, has performed successfully on it. They have a lot of offensive possibilities here with Dive. An assassin here for the mid lane, plenty of support with Nocturne and Shen turning off the lights and trying to create some disarray within the Gen G setup.
And we know this style works against Gen G. That's why it's smart that C9 are drafting this way. That being said, on the other side, Zyra Khan in the bot lane is a very strong duo for Ruler and Core JJ, and I'm looking there.
In addition to that, Gen G, they are the defending world champions, back-to-back finalists. This team also has struggled in the group stage in the past and gotten stronger over the course of the tournament as they see more and more. Definitely a very intimidating opponent. And with the result of our last game, everything is up in the air now, so every win counts.
It's all about engages here from C9 on the side of Gen G. Can you get Ruler to a point where he can actually carry this game for you? Then you take it.
Definitely level 6 is there for the Nocturne on the side of Cloud9. And seeing that Skarner come in for the side of Gen G, so you'll get a little bit of that jungle coming in the early game, but it is going to be up to the lanes, up to those outplays. Syndra LeBlanc in the mid lane. And we'll have to see how it plays out between Crown and Jensen.
All right, let me dive a little bit more into this Hecarim versus Aatrox matchup because I'm sure most people not very familiar with it. Now, Licorice is the exact same thing he did in North America where he took Phase Rush on the Hecarim. So that means very early on, Hecarim can use the E speed boost to try and dodge the sweet spots of the Aatrox Q. But also, once he closes the distance and procs the Phase Rush, it gives him continued speed to keep up the chase, go for the trade, as well as continue to dodge that damage. And Hecarim, since he has so much speed, can bring Ignite for the lane phase. That is the kicker, looking for those kills and possible 2v2s as well.
And I think that's where we really want to look in the early game, because when Hecarim was picked by him last time, I remember a lot of European top laners that I was talking to, they weren't a fan. They were like, no, this doesn't seem that good. Like, I'm not really sure why he's doing it. Is he just better than the other top laner? Now he's against Cuvee, who's, when he's on form, one of the best top laners in the world. He has Aatrox on his side. We get to see the same matchup. Do we get a different result? Or will Licorice actually be able to pull it off again? That's going to be very interesting. Just a little story in itself within the game.
All right, well, that story is an intimidating one because you mentioned Cuvee, right? And his world's buff that people always allude to and how well he plays on the world stage. It was definitely true for them last year, and it was definitely true for them in the Gauntlet getting here to this stage. Gen G, you know, former Samsung, as well as Cloud9, these are two teams had to work their way through the gauntlets and have been known for very successful late runs when the pressure is on, when it all counts.
Watching the bottom lane start things off, knowing Gen G was a team that kind of had a mixed season, but as you said, come out very strong in the regionals, and we saw a lot of teams doing that. The question was how many could carry that play style now into Worlds, keep it going on the main stage when you're tested against many different play styles.
Exactly, and the fact they're actually willing to gamble on this Hecarim again, I like it a lot, because I think we've seen a lot of Western teams especially pull out new things in the draft, try and change how the game is normally being played for a team like Gen G. And Licorice wins the first trade, has Corruption Potion as well against the Doran Shield.
Skarner has gotten up to the top side first and placed this ward, so they've seen where Licorice's ward is. But I also should talk about how good Hecarim is into Skarner, not just his lane opponent. With the extra speed, it makes it difficult for Skarner to land his E, and that's where Skarner's crowd control.
Oh, look at mid lane!
Mid lane though, Jensen!
Nice damage to start things off. Crown very low, a few more auto attacks coming in, and it's gonna be first blood for Jensen in the mid lane!
He gets it, he gets out alive as well. And man, Crown, that is not the start you're looking for, but Jensen, you're doing exactly what North America wants.
Picking Syndra into LeBlanc. We thought it was going to be about junglers coming for the assistance, but Jensen does it himself here.
Crown with a bit of smile on his face, shaking that one off. Both Ignites are down in the mid lane, so it's about that skill pressure coming up. Flashes will stay for those electrocute mid laners. Let's see this one more time.
All right, so Crown down to about 85%, gets a Q in his face. Stun is now gone, so Jensen knows there's no way for Crown to stop Jensen from actually getting in his face. He gets a level up, so he's level 3, got everything going for him. He lands the combo, Ignite comes in, gets the extra tick from the chain, and now Crown, he's stuck here, can't get out, and he dies.
Very important that Jensen ran forward to dodge that Q here. Cuvée now is under attack.
In trouble, possibly terrified, breaks the tether, and he'll be safe for now. Svenskeren towards the top side, and that fizzles out.
As we get a little break from the early action here, I don't want to be too negative on the Syndra pick itself, but I do think Crown and Syndra is a very interesting story. This was a pick that Crown in the past could not play. When it was picked in almost every single game, he had to ban it. Like, it was a big problem for his team in the pick and ban phase. He's picked it up, but he's never really been able to perform on the champion. And now he's struggling already in this game.
All right, Licorice very low.
Not looking good. Doesn't have that flash, remember. Goes down, and that's going to be a kill coming in for Haru. Flashes down on that top side.
Nice move there from Haru. Flashes out of the brush. Notices Licorice doesn't have any cooldowns available. Low on mana. They get an easy kill here. Teleport will be able to reset, though.
Licorice with a quick push into the turret, and he will find his opponent in Cuvée to clean that right up. 35-19 in CS top side.
Svenskeren is bot side, but I think the bot lane of Gen G, they know. They had a ward there spotting him.
Oh, it's going to be a very big hello for JJ. May Battle Dance back. Actually goes for the grand entrance first. And gets the safety there for Ruler for more damage coming in from Cloud9.
Yeah, Hubris really punished right there for Ruler. Walks up to try and 1v1 Nocturne. Svenskeren is happy to take it, whether they saw him on the ward and decided to choose it or not. Doesn't matter to him as long as he gets the fight. And that is a summoner spell blown from the bottom lane, which we haven't checked in on since the solo lanes have been so interesting and active early on. But again, the bottom lane is so important. This is a Sivir Shen bottom lane from Cloud9. They're just looking to, shove the wave over, not get behind in CS, and try and get to the point where Zeyzal can use his Stand United to support Svenskeren.
Jensen is looking for something more. Oh, ends up jumping out. I just went back on my screen to check if the ward spotted Svenskeren, and it did. They saw him walk into that tri-brush. I don't know if Ruler expected him to have left the tri-brush to go for the Crocs camp maybe, or go in towards the red buff, but he ended up walking in when he's already seen the jungler to then have to flash out. And Ruler's early laning phase this tournament so far has been really shaky. He had level 1 flashes against a headbutt from an Alistar. Problems like that has really made it hard for him to actually have the impact we expected from one of the best AD carries. But he can still bounce back. The Zyra-Khan combination we know will be absolutely fantastic once we start getting towards team fights. And that's kind of Gen G's point now. They need to stop these small mistakes.
Cut up with a slice of pizza there. Sneaky in that Sivir lane, pushing in all the time. This is why we see Zeyzal now inside the jungle a bit, which may give Ruler some time to farm kind of 1v1 versus Sneaky. They keep that even for now and even a little bit ahead in his favor as the map quiets down overall.
Sneaky with what is close enough to a Cloud9 world skin by now since he cosplayed it.
Oh! Ignites there. Doesn't go in for the next distortion. Everything's on cooldown for Jensen, but he does get lane advantage. Yeah,
uses Ignite early here again. Is going to force a recall out of Crown. We see him shove this wave. The CS is going to get even worse than it is right now. He's absolutely destroying this lane.
And Crown already saw the LeBlanc in the draft phase. He hates his life right now with how this 1v1 is going. Haru's not level 6. He's spotted on bot side.
Oh, there's Zeyzal's taunt out. He doesn't have any more gap closer. Grand just hits on the side, but they don't want it with Sneaky's damage starting onto Haru.
Yeah, since Haru used his flash on the top side successfully to get that kill, so it's definitely worth it. It does, though, mean that he doesn't have a lot of threat. Not level 6, so even with the Predator, Skarner here at level 5, not going to be enough to force anything out of C9. Sneaky getting a little bit low on mana, but uses his spell shield there very wisely to get some back off of the feather.
Now, you have level 6 on Skarner. Oh, top lane all in.
Knight goes down.
Quick onslaught from Licorice. Cuvée still has World Ender, throws that ult down if he really needs to, and he'll get himself
safety. He gonna go for it after it times out?
Doesn't have too much mana there, takes 2 shots, 3 shots, that turret is heated up! Licorice goes down.
Too early. Licorice knew what he had to do.
Womp womp.
He was waiting for the World Ender. You can see that white bar under Aatrox's health bar, by the way. And once that thing fills up completely and goes away, that means he will not revive. So Licorice, a little bit antsy there.
Oh,
he,
yes.
He knew he could finish off the kill, but he took a couple extra tower shots, then still went in too early. And just a little bit too early does finish off. So that means Cuvée answers back. Cuvé's got a kill for himself.
Man.
This is just a big mistake, honestly. After he already won the trade, there's no TP on Cuvée. He can just force him back to base and get further ahead in farm, but he wants it so badly.
Yeah.
There's no minions initially to tank the turret, so he will take instant damage from it. That's already a problem for himself. Then he has to walk back and around and wait for it.
Then he commits.
And he
I'm in
takes
here.
too many hits. Licorice, your mid laner is winning right now. You don't need to feed kills to the win condition on Gen G.
And even though he dodges the first 2 Qs, those barely even matter. It's the 3rd Q from Aatrox there, the one right in front of him, point blank, biggest damage, gets the knock-up onto Licorice, and does get the kill. So nicely played there by Cuvée, and a bit of a fumble. Definitely a misplay from Licorice, who he saw it in his eyes, a little bit too risky.
Paranoia over beautifully onto Crown. His flash is down, and again 0-2-0 for Crown in the mid lane as Svenskeren picks this one up.
And this will keep happening. There's no way for Syndra to play this game because you have so many global ultis to get onto her. She can never get out. And now you have Jensen, 1 kill, 1 assist. Svenskeren picked up this one. Azazel did end up ulting in, which was a little bit too much from C9. So that is a big cooldown now gone, but they just wanted to guarantee the kill.
Yeah, we're starting to see maybe a little bit of these rushed or anti-plays from the rookie guys here on Cloud9. That being said, though, they are still with a very healthy lead in this game. So waiting for the cooldowns to come back up and execute better the second time around. Meanwhile, Gen G, the defending champions here, trying to stall out a little bit. Now Haru does have his flash. He's post level 6 on Skarner and has a Predator active. So look for Gen G to actually make a play now.
Yeah, I really want Haru's next gank to succeed. If you look at the lanes he can go for, no flash in the mid lane from Jensen, so he can get onto him or at least try. Obviously LeBlanc is pretty mobile, but if he gets in from the right angle, he should be able to grab him. Crown will have enough damage with Ignite to kill him. C9 should know this and try and get vision around the lane. And that's also why Gen G are killing the few wards being placed. Other lanes could be top. No flash, of course, but Licorice has his ult to try and get out.
Quick clears on the bot side. Mountain Drake rearing its head here at 11 minutes into the game for both teams to have their hand at. As the pressure from Gen G is going to actually be a little bit more. Svenskeren coming down shortly from mid. As this mid lane, 112 to 83 here, is putting Jensen on a very nice clip for that first core item. Is this where Gen G goes hard? You have to wonder. Spell shield for Sneaky, throws down on the hunt as well, so they have an ultimate missing there. Svenskeren actually pinches now, pincering from the top side. Jensen over the wall if he can deliver the damage. Sven almost going down. He's able to get out, and now they try to turn on the ruler. Haru's taking a bit more. Cloud9 looks a bit scattered, and this one is Azazel throws down the stopwatch. Licorice from the outside. The ultimate in from the horse, and he's going to take down ruler first. More kills to come in. Cuvée throws down World Ender. Everybody scattering from Cloud9, and Cuvé's going to now try to route them behind the turret.
Yeah,
Not much of a wave there for Gen G.
Cuvée doesn't have his ultimate, though, because he used it to chase Sneaky. And in all of that chaos, Cloud9 actually got a kill, even though they lost so much health so early. The Nocturne ultimate really caused so much miscommunication on the Gen G side. They had such an early lead in the team fight, but Cloud9 are able to come out ahead.
Here it is one more time. Gen G going hard with Sneaky's ult. They kind of thought it would fizzle out, but Svenskeren puts himself right in the middle.
Yeah, so the fight starts, Haru ults him, drags him actually out of core JJ's engagement, but that's still fine for now because they can get a bit of damage on him. Ruler was not in range, however, to get a knockdown. And here, with the defensive Nocturne ulti, they don't have any information on Licorice. They do not know where this Hecarim is going to come from. And he ends up behind Ruler, smacks him in the face, and takes down the back line.
It also meant, if you're looking at Crown, the Syndra there chased Jensen to the back of the wall, didn't participate much in the fight. Svenskeren, though, is back out onto the field. They're forcing Cuvée back.
World Ender is down. Looks like they're just going to blast Cone out of this one for 2. But they leave it up for a little bit of play, maybe. Licorice pushing mid lane with the help of Jensen as they start sorting their pressure a little further into Genji's jungle.
And you can see on the items right now, Crown in the mid lane he's just trying to survive. Like, he has MR on his boots, he's gone for stopwatch as well. He has no real damage at this point in the game, but he knows that if he gets all in, there's a chance with the stopwatch he can buy enough time for Haru or maybe a core JJ to show up and actually help him. And if C9 ends up overextending, that could be a way back for Genji, because right now, you're behind in gold, is looking very rough in terms of compositions because of the Nocturne Shen on the side of C9.
Yeah, I think the best option for Genji should be a little bit of patience. Look for another kind of risky move from one of the C9 rookie players and try and punish it. Try and capitalize on that. Because right now, C9 are making another offensive move. This one, they're getting predatored on.
Licorice, no TP in the bot lane. Same for Cuvee, so we are looking at just a 4 versus 4 if a fight happens, but no. Everyone ends up backing away. I don't think Crown was actually in base, so they couldn't have gone for the fight right there. They just had to give it up. And this mid lane turret keeps taking a bit of damage every single time. Jensen can always push it, which now means Rift Herald's getting started.
And that vision pressure slowly encroaching into Genji's jungle allows C9 to do this uncontested for now. A little bit of pressure coming from Haru and Crown in the mid lane, but it's stopped by Jensen. Nice chain to Crown, but does not deter much, and the Cloud9 is going to be pushed off of this Rift Herald.
Svenskeren now has no spell shield, has to be careful. Looks like Genji want to finish off the Rift Herald.
Contested from both sides. Whoever takes it gets it. It's going to be on the ground for quite a while. Haru's going to pick that up, and Genji actually get a little tempo creator if they want to use Rift Herald as Licorice is pushing bot side.
Yeah, Cuvee had also moved from the bot lane, so he accepts that Licorice will get damage on it because he wants to guarantee Rift Herald.
Exactly. That's not a free sort of steal of an objective for Genji. Licorice here is going to be able to finish it off with the Hecarim, has the empowered auto attacks, does get it, and is now level 11.
And I think we're seeing so far with the Hecarim versus Aatrox matchup, despite obviously Licorice dying under that turret, it's actually been pretty successful for him. He got the early push on his side. He got a gank from Svenskeren, which was a good setup. And Cuvee did fall pretty far down. He's tried his best to catch up, and he got that one kill. So Cuvee is not out of the game by any means, but the Hecarim is working.
Yeah, I mean, definitely credit to Licorice for finding this counter pick and playing it. He did mess up on the dive, but he had the advantage up until that point. So the theoretical pick definitely is approved. Meanwhile, though, we're getting into the mid game now, and Genji trying to play their vision game. They do have the extra tool, the Eye of the Rift Herald, sitting on Haru. So if they get a pick or if they win a team fight, they can claim a lot of rewards. Even though Cloud9 already got that first turret bonus gold, they can get some back.
Yeah, and right now top lane seems to be the only lane they can safely push with the Zyra Khan, so that could be where you're looking for the Rift Herald. Otherwise, normally you want to place it mid to get the most important objective down. That turret is full HP and the wave dies pretty quickly, so it is hard. But it looks like top side is where Haru is going to put his focus, and I think top lane is probably the safest choice because that's where you're okay strong.
Yeah, Nocturne already heading up there. Zeyzal and Sneaky currently still just clearing minion waves, trying to scale up, get your crit multipliers going for the AoE team fight. But now we might have a confrontation mid.
Yeah, if they can rotate mid here, it's also a good place to set down the Rift Herald, as long as they can actually get to the wave first and stop Jensen from killing it instantly.
Assist pings from Genji topside, knowing there's going to be a bit of action mid. They go right on the Crown. Stopwatch buys time for Haru as he looks for a target. No priority. Mid laner's going to go down right in front of his eyes.
Yeah, even with Haru sitting there for a counter gank ready, it gave Crown some false confidence almost. Licorice goes in on the Hecarim, gets his damage off, also burns the stopwatch, and then the Ignite finishing off the kill. Cloud9 now with a 5 versus 4 power play.
This is fantastic for C9, able to snuff out a bit more of that Rift Herald for Haru, and the side of Genji as they control now pace down towards the Mountain Drake as the first Drake of the game. Both teams have been tempting each other across the map. Genji will head back top with their bot lane as Cloud9 is able to pick up Mountain Drake.
Cloud9 also should be able to send Sneaky back to topside to grab these minions and, you know, pick up a decent amount of gold for himself. Look at that damage, though. Jensen got his burst damage off. Hecarim, as soon as you get your E auto, boom, finishes off the Ignite with a, another Q there. Enough damage to get that kill. And Crown has got to be feeling a huge weight on his shoulders. He is a guy who has talked about really taking it hard and not wanting to let his team down.
And you never know in a pick and ban phase if it's Crown saying, I need the Syndra, give it to me, or if it's the coach and the team saying, you need to play this champ for, wave clear, whatever reason we want to have this in here, because he's really struggling. 1v1, and now also just on the map itself. It's a really rough situation, because we mentioned before the stopwatch and the flash he had to try and survive the next play.
Yeah.
He used both, and he still ended up dying. So there's a huge window now for C9 to just continue piling on to Crown, no matter where he is on the map, and kill it.
This day has definitely been favoring the younger players. Now, though, the Rift Herald is used mid lane. Let's see if Gen G can get something out of it. Cloud9 have a decent amount of players in the area to react, and it's going to take more than a charge to take down the turret, but that's a lot of damage.
Nice hit. They won't be able to follow up, obviously. Just the defense coming in. Pressure from Licorice. They don't have vision on just yet, but he is matched by Cuve, so following each other from that bot side. But teleports are up for a big fight if we get one here.
And what you're always looking for as Gen G now is like smaller wins. Just smaller wins that keep getting you a bit of extra gold. You want to get to 2 items very quickly. You're kind of scared of the C9 comp unless you can catch them out. Can Corday find a big engage here? That could then be a huge win for them, but looks like everyone just ended up stepping away. Not too confident they could actually find the opening they needed.
Hide and seek. Classic game here.
Very, very hide and seek, especially when you can only get one ward in. It's cleared, and vice versa. It's kind of that quick ward war that really creates the next big fight. Nobody pressures in. They're all looking before they leap this time. And as we come up on 20 minutes, Baron will be the next thing to jockey for position. As long as we get this top turret, or top lane down.
Oh,
mid lane immediately, and you gotta be paranoid if you're Crown right now. 0-4 and 0 as Cloud9 continue to pressure mid lane.
Yep, Svenskeren and Jensen are still on the warpath too, looking for Core JJ and Haru, chasing out of their own jungle. I really do need to note that one of the go-to and classic kind of standard moves, especially with a Sivir as your marksman, is to, in the mid-game, transition them to the mid lane to push out the waves. But C9 want to keep Jensen versus Crown as long as possible, so they can continue to do this. Bring any other member of the team to just bang on that weakness. Continue to force
the sad face.
Yeah, I mean, you just got mid lane turret. That's going to give you top lane turret as well because no one can defend it. You can now start pushing down to tier 2 turrets and get full map control, start stealing away jungle camps as well. Like, C9 have everything they need to close out this game as fast as possible. And we got to say, Blabber was playing before against Gen G. That game, it was all about team fighting for C9, and they were trying to just match, the late game. They tried some big engages, they kind of failed. This game, however, with Svenskeren, it's back to play around mid, play towards Jensen. He's obviously getting the advantage on his own already with the LeBlanc, but the 2 ganks from Svenskeren has also done a lot to continue to snowball.
I love the fact that you mentioned that. Just in general, we've had so many solo kills from mid laners this world. It really is a time to step up in that lane. A lot of times we've seen Jensen on the utility, but to see him again kind of go back to those wheelhouse champions has to feel good for Cloud9 fans, and has to feel great to see that pressure come from the mid lane now and not just Licorice and jungle pressure on that top side.
Yeah, I mean, let's remember that he was the one to get his own solo kill for the first one onto Crown. Since then, he's definitely had a lot of help and a lot of assistance from the other members, though, and rightfully so, because League of Legends is such a mental game, and if you can focus so much on one person and get them to make
Here we go,
though. Core JJ is in!
Nice quickness. Zeyzal and Sneaky have to split. A flash over the wall does keep him safe, and those two are elusive. As we see Gen G trying to get in. Svenskeren's ult used as well for defense.
Yeah, really good defensive. Oh, as soon as he turns off the lights and Sneaky flashes over that wall, Gen G have to call it off. Those are some decent cooldowns that were burned, though.
Yeah, that's again with like trying to get these small wins. For Gen G, they knew, okay, it's going to be hard to actually kill these guys due to summoners. But Harold tried. He flashed forward, but didn't get in range in time. At least he didn't get to hook anyone. And that's a big problem now because it actually means you end up using 2 flashes and you only got 1.
Exactly, the 2 main engaged flashes, whereas Jensen's back at it again!
Crown almost going down. Duskbringer just short on the coattails of Crown as they almost knock that off his head once more. Top pressure still there for Jensen as C9 is just suffocating Gen G this game.
Every lane getting pushed down right now. Licorice is on his way with the bot lane wave as well. What we mentioned, when you get the early tier 1 turrets down, you just get all the map control, all the access to enemy jungle on your side. And because you're playing with globals, you don't need to be too scared by splitting up into 1-3-1 because you can always join very, very quickly with extra players.
That's a key word there, Deficio. Don't be scared. Reaper said it himself, and Cloud9 are not playing scared at all. Pushing up super hard on the secondary turrets. As we see the vision toggle here as well, plenty of fog of war with objectives coming up. This will be the second Mountain Drake. And as much as we repeat ourselves about Mountain Drake stacking, it is always so important because that means the Baron burns down so quickly. Jensen's in a brush looking for Crown.
Oh, there's the damage. Chain's gonna lock in. It won't be the kill though. Here comes Svenskeren with the nail in the coffin for Crown. Zeyzal almost gets Haru on the exit of his stand united, and Cloud9 is able to pick up these kills in the face of Gen G while they're ready for them.
Team play comes through for Cloud9. Jensen starts it off, and then Svenskeren sees an easy low health target. Licorice the whole time is just continuing to push these turrets down as well.
He completely relegated himself to being okay with letting Jensen carry this game. Licorice is playing very off the ball, but doing exactly what the team needs to do. Looking at a 7,000 gold lead, 25 minutes in, Cloud9 over Gen G.
This group is just getting insane. The last day here, we're on the verge of another upset already, with Cloud9 making a very strong performance here against the defending world champions. Almost over a 6,000 gold lead here in the mid game, and if they can get that second Mountain Drake, that gives them very critically an important way to finish out the game.
I think they can get it. I don't see
think
how
that's the easy
anyone
part.
can stop them there. And if you are Gen G, you're probably okay, say fine, you get that one. We're not going to risk everything for it. It looks like we're going to get like a Baron defense from Gen G as kind of the last hope to try and stop the bleeding. Because they have so many wards placed around it now. They're basically telling C9 that if you do not do a good job of sweeping this, we will see you at the Baron, and we will be around to fight. They don't have flash on Core GG and Haru, and that's important, because they're the ones who will jump in first. But still, they're sitting in this area. They need a pick to stop C9 from snowballing.
And this is a game that can only get better for C9 once they get that Baron. Obviously it's good, but there is no wave clear on the side of Gen G, so once those minions start flowing in, the players are going to flow as well, and Cloud9 here on the back of the engage from Svenskeren. He's low, he's down, and that's a shutdown for Haru. They get the kill, however, back on the Core JJ. That's the utility gone. The shields need to be there for Gen G, and QV is swinging away, throwing the haymakers in the middle of the fight, but he's turned away by Cloud9. Licorice is on the charge, tries to throw down the speed, but he gets pushed back from the scatter.
That was a critical knockback from Crown there to stop the bleeding, but the damage has been done. Cloud9 now on Baron, and this should be theirs.
There's no TB from QV. Crown is low on HP. He's walking back. Ruler is the only member who can do anything, but no ulti or flash. There's no way. He cannot stop this. C9, they win the fight. They get the Baron. What a performance.
And they are going to be able to do whatever they want with these minions against this champion squad of Gen G. Let's see this one more time. A split from C9 and the re-engage.
Oh, Svenskeren instantly looking for the turn, uses the stopwatch to try and bait some cooldowns. The stun, though, does come through, and then they take him down first, but as the teleports come in and Licorice arrives, Gen G's carries, you see here, have kited away through the jungle, and they can't get any more damage off. So that allows Cloud9 to take down the front line. After that, you have to retreat, and it would have been even worse. If Crown did not land that stun, they would have lost more members. In the end, though, Cloud9 got what they want. The Baron is on the table. They are pushing out the minion waves in both mid and bottom.
So much damage coming from those bot laners. They need to stay alive. You see how quick Core JJ went down. And that could have been Ruler staying alive much longer if he was able to participate. Sneaky, yeah, getting himself to safety real quick. The hit in. Jensen just wants the little back and forth, and you see Crown limping away from the fight, and his team blink. They don't even know what happened. Jensen's going to be doing that over and over.
This is a level 16 LeBlanc with 3 core items completed.
And on
Jensen,
the top laner.
Yeah, he's going to town.
No one is safe.
But man, these games are too fast for Gen G. They don't want this much action. They don't want to face these picks they haven't seen that much before, like a Hecarim in there. It's a big, big issue that the team can't slow down games like they were actually really good at doing in the past and get to a point where Ruler can be a huge carry in teamfights. It's just not happening. And when you then put Crown on a carry and not utility, you're actually setting him up to fail almost because you know he's not a great Syndra player, and he just got destroyed this game.
Yeah, you could definitely say he failed this game. Not much left for Gen G as they try and defend their inhibitor turrets here. The Baron buff for Cloud9 doing some work, buffing up these minions. But Gen G are clearing out the minions. They just need to buy time. They need to buy a lot of time, but that's it.
Just trying to imagine what Haru is thinking right now. The pressure to not press flash and try to get an impale on a target that might be able to get away, or Svenskeren going in and tracking what his target will be and snap judgment if Cloud9 wants to get in.
I mean, I like that you mentioned Haru right here because him and Core JJ, they need the perfect engage in the next fight.
Right.
You almost have eye edge on Ruler. He's gonna be the late game hope for this team. And if you can take a fight here, if you get a good pick, let's say you hook Jensen without his QSS, you can actually kill him almost instantly. And that could stop C9 from winning. The problem is, there's such a high chance of you just losing, and you're already at your base.
So touch and go. What is the right choice? Do you let Cloud9 just keep pushing? Right now, it's going to be hard. We said that wave clear isn't there for Genji. Jensen now working on the bot side. The 1-3-1 from Cloud9. Very textbook as they're keeping themselves safe. Good call on the flash, making sure Sneaky is safe is imperative in these fights. On the hunt gives him a little bit of a move in that steroid or speed, but he can be caught by this Gen G team. They're playing it very respectful here. And it looks like Jensen takes a bit too much damage. Stand United activated to the bot side, and Gen G may feel like they have a bit of room to work with here, but they stay in base.
Yeah, Cloud9 have been very, very liberal with their cooldowns here. Sneaky flashing very early. They don't want any chance of getting caught and Gen G coming back in this game. They also use Stand United there, but
It was on the clone.
then Jensen's able to move it back in with a little bit of a bait there. In the end, though, they need to just reset and wait for their cooldowns. They have so much of a lead that they don't have to actually rush to finish this game since they've done so much work up to this point, 30 minutes in, 10,000 and some gold lead.
And it's not like C9's comp doesn't scale. Like, they have Sivir on their side already, who obviously is a fantastic late game carry. Their current LeBlanc as well, with so much upfront burst, is also going to be strong in these big fights. But the only thing for Gen G is just Ruler for me. And like, he got eye edge now, and the only way I see them get back in this game is through him.
It probably won't be through the level 14 Syndra to the level 17 LeBlanc. What a shutdown they put on mid lane here, and it's really been the ability for Cloud9 to push pressure forward across all lanes on the map because of what Jensen was able to do in mid lane.
I also really like the Banshee's Veil purchase for Jensen on LeBlanc. When you're this far ahead and you have that much burst damage, all you need is the safety to be able to go in for a combo. We saw previously one single combo from him takes Crown down to maybe 200 HP. And if he's got the Banshee's Veil to block that point-and-click stun from Skarner or the knockback stun from Syndra, then it really does open up a lot of options here for Cloud9 to push forward.
Yeah, and if you are Crown, like, what do you want to build next? Like, ideally you want to get some more damage with like a Void Staff in there, but at the same time you also really want Hourglass because there's so many champions diving at you where you need to survive during the ulti, like a Hecarim flying in, of course a Nocturne as well. So he's kind of stuck in a really rough situation, and that's just sad for him when you play Syndra. There's so little you can do with the champion when you fall behind against all these long-range engaged champs. He's limited in what he can do.
And he already has to look at half of the team buying a ton of magic resistance. Paranoia goes off as Svenskeren and Licorice are both in the middle of the fight. That's going to be big damage onto Ruler. Core JJ's trying to do what he can to split up the fight. Ruler down on your bottom left, firing in the damage is Sneaky now in a very bad spot. Cube's got a good hit there as that's Ruler's kill to be picked up. Haru falls and Gen G look at Cloud9 for a few more kills, but want to save the base as well.
For Gen G, that is a good trade. They get the marksman off the table here for Cloud9 in exchange for their jungler, for Haru. That does kind of stall it out a little bit and allow them some more breathing room.
And this is why we keep saying, look at Ruler, look at Ruler. He needs to stay alive in the fights. He can turn around and deal proper damage. Had to use everything to survive, but they did manage to get that kill on Sneaker, who used the flash much earlier during the Baron siege when he saw Haru move towards him.
Those little things.
For the next team fight, Ruler, though, used both of his summoners in this one. So the next one, C9 will be looking at him once again. Nocturne, Shen, ultimate cooldowns much shorter, as well as the Hecarim looking to dive him. And Ruler will only be able to rely on his own ultimate.
That is very true. Obviously, on the other side, Jensen used Flash in the fight. He actually was Svenskeren and Stazel as well. So a lot of summoners missing for them. Crown had everything ready. He didn't get to fully join the fight because he was actually a little bit too far away. But it does mean he gets to save everything for the next one. Genji are trying to hold on.
Yeah, this next one will be critical. Can Genji make a comeback as Baron number 2 is now on Summoner's Rift? They're trying to push up some defensive vision here through their jungle. It's very scary to try and face check into this area, though.
Super dark, just on the other side of that river. They know Sneaky's there, so he's delivering pizzas across the wall, and Genji tries to move in. Haru behind Cuvée here. Got to be a sad Scorpion. He has not been able to impale many targets this game, or any, if you've really been watching hard enough. And now they get a little bit of vision on to Baron, as this could really make or break the way the game is swinging.
Licorice is setting up for a teleport. Look at the Hecarim in the fountain right now. There is a deep ward behind all of Genji right now. In the middle of the mid lane. It's about to time out, though.
There's one right behind them as well at that Raptor pit, just on the right side, if they want to get a pin from both Fog of War. And he's going to be able to run out of base right down the lane to meet his team.
So they didn't actually go for the engage here. Ruler without Flash, of course, is the target. Licorice is moving around the flank here. He will get spotted by this ward in the river. But here we go.
Paranoia goes down. Licorice is going to be the first one in. Stand United goes on to him. Crown's very low as he gets 2 members of Cloud9 immediately. Haru is able to get himself into the middle and disrupt Svenskeren and the rest of the team. And there is the kill. Crown still going to be able to deliver damage. We're looking at Genji on the bot side as they drop Svenskeren. And now Cloud9, who had the initiation on the fight. The use of Svenskeren's ultimate cannot lock down the kills they need.
Insane double stun here from Crown to survive, and Ruler. What? Only his ultimate allows him to stay upright. They get the counter kill, and Genji are fighting their way back.
Yeah, it's crazy they're able to do this. 2 fights in a row. They get a kill against C9 and force the team away. They were 10,000 gold down. Their carries were going to get instantly collapsed on in every single team fight, but they managed to hold on. Baron is being started. Genji, are you moving in time? They're coming now. Haru called JJ.
Teleport.
Has to happen. Baron's going to be going low, down to just below half right now. Haru's going to be there. Smite is up for him, but Flash is not. They're turned away immediately as Licorice is in the front of the fight, being the meat wall. Haru's gone. No 50-50. Sneaky picks up Baron. Genji's getting run out of the river, and there goes Licorice. Right into the fight. It's going to be Zazel locking down onto Cuvée. Cuvée falls. Cloud9 can look for the Nexus.
They have a bit of doubt, but counter punch here from Cloud9. Back to the Baron. They started up immediately, and with those kills, they will push inside the base.
Oh, they got everything. They finally get it. It wasn't a big team fight in the end. It was just catching individual members at that Baron, but C9, fantastic early game, fantastic mid game, and they finish it here.
Coming out swinging from the beginning. 13-5, 36 minutes in. Cloud9 puts the finishing touches on the Nexus turrets, and the Nexus will follow. Cloud9 takes down Genji.
And they do it with their own style. Some Cloud9 innovation. They were the first ones in the North American LCS to use the Shen Nocturne combination, and Licorice was able to find the Hecarim counter pick into Aatrox during the gauntlet. Coming out on top here does so much for the rest of the day and the way that this group will stand.
We just watched the NA 3rd seed stomp the defending world champions. Genji absolutely hate facing C9 and Vitality in this group, because these picks and the playstyle where they're just going aggressive, it's really punishing them.
No fear from Cloud9 or Vitality, and they take the first 2 wins of the day.
And these are such turnarounds because you know Cloud9 was smashed by Genji and RNG the first time around, so they were able to resync, find the way through, and we're getting a lot more plays out of individual players and the team coming together now from all regions.
And remember, Gen G, they play the next game against Vitality. They don't even have a lot of time to go backstage and reset, discuss everything.
That's right.
You're going to face a team that will go even harder in the early game at you. All right, fine. As hard as C9 in this game.
I would be most worried specifically about Crown individually because, like you mentioned, there's not a lot of time for him to reset. This is where the team needs to come and solidify themselves around Crown, kind of encourage him, get him back to an even keel.
A few pats on the back. We'll see how they come around to get more insight on how Cloud9 took down the reigning champs. Let's head over to the analyst desk.
Man, we'll see what we can do for you guys, but this day is turning out to be nothing like we thought it would. Cloud9 with a huge victory over Gen G here to keep things increasingly more interesting in this group.
I mean, it's been insane to see the MSI champion fall to Vitality, and now last year's world champion is falling here to Cloud9, and you have to love the similarities between these last two games. It's two of these teams who are big underdogs, playing their own style, playing their own picks, and really taking it to their opponents. They are not backing down. They are not playing scared at any point throughout the game.
And complete credit to Cloud9 in this game. I think it's a well-deserved victory. It didn't even require a lot of innovation. Yes, the Hecarim is non-standard by a larger meta point, but of course, already revealed by Licorice. We have the draft on the screen. I definitely first took umbrage with the approach the Gen G took, specifically with Crown drafting the Syndra. Already revealed at the time was the LeBlanc, and Syndra's kind of maybe at best like a 40% into that matchup, 45, 40%, 40 to 60, 35%. All I'm trying to say is it's definitely not a winning matchup, right? At the end of the day. So it's a confidence matchup, something he played very well last year, but he hasn't really been turning to this year. And again, it's into the Nocturne as well. So you're already kind of a sitting duck. And yes, with ganks, things can happen. But I think it's a very optimistic thing for Crown, who first didn't play a lot of Summer, came in largely on supportive champions, and then tries to play for his lane. To me, this is very far away from the win conditions I would set out for Gen G, so I was surprised to see it.
And very much aligned with the win conditions set out for Cloud9. Mark called for it at the top of the day. He wanted to see aggression from Svenskeren in the early game, particularly towards that mid lane, Crown being susceptible to some pressure, and Jensen himself doing some styling before that.
Yeah, I mean, Jensen played incredibly well in the 1v1, getting the solo kill, and this time...
almost the cannon getting him back, though,
the
man.
Cannon almost got 2 games in a row, and this, they really did play a lot to what we talked about. You know, the 3 kind of things I wanted them to be able to do: stability in the bot lane, jungle and mid playing well together, a winning top side for Licorice. They got the picks they needed, and they really were able to execute.
And you just watch this, everyone is different. A solo kill into the jungler coming to the top laner roaming down. That's the reality of Syndra. You are this sitting duck if the matchup doesn't go your way. And that meant that mid lane was pretty vacated, and the gold lead Cloud9 built up. It was 10,000 very quickly.
And I've got to give credit, I think, to Cloud9. I think that the Shen picked where it was made a lot of sense as a flex pick to open up for putting that top and playing, you know, through a more stable lane there, or bringing it down to the bottom lane, saving their last pick for counter for the top. And, you know, we were kind of thinking, hey, Urgot has made its way all the way through draft. It's likely going to be the Urgot. But it's actually the first time in all of Worlds that it goes unpicked, unbanned, and it is the Hecarim, which does pay off.
Yeah, very much so. And part of this whole go-forward mentality and strategy is it does mean that sometimes you hit a brick wall. And I do think, to some degree, we have to acknowledge that Gen G, for a portion of that game, was able to put up a very solid defense. We saw multiple fights end in either no kills or a 1-for-0 or a 1-for-1, and C9 really started to seem to stall out until a very impressive Baron call out of them off of some recall timing and some good vision control.
I mean, this began with the side of Gen G repelling some aggression, kind of winning a fight or splitting even, so you might think, okay, they can full reset and then fight. Instead, Cloud9 understand that's going to be a very slow process. They start up the Baron, and you notice the vision here. Gen G understand they have to be safety first. They cannot face check rush.
Yeah, and this is on the back of a double Mountain Dragon, I do believe, which really gave them the confidence to do this. So as Licorice comes in, they can turn, they can remove the smite from the map, guaranteeing that Baron. But certainly credit to Gen G for being 10K down, taking multiple fights in a row that went very even. And I think Ruler had a strong game for himself on the Xayah. But he was kind of put so far behind by Crown in the mid lane.
And we sold Gen G, then Samsung Galaxy last year, as this shield team. They need to take their time, scale up, and in an ardent sense of meta, more often than not, that happened. This year, when we see Haru and Crown, they were much about neutralizing, empowering Haru at the start, and then Ruler will get the job done later. That's why I wanted to see Karma, Lulu, neutralizing mid laners that might not get kills, might not even be up in CS, but will be fine so that when those team fights roll around, you can style on the enemy. They were so far behind that they needed every team fight to go their way just to stay in the game.
Right, and it's that prowess on that style, though, which is why no one has wanted to count Gen G out up to this point. But they now move to 1-3, and so it gets very scary for this squad as they look at their remaining 2 matches today and chances at getting out of this group.
I mean, you still have to play RNG, and yeah, RNG did lose today against Vitality, but you can't count on another loss there.
On a very simple point, they don't seem to know where their bread is buttered. They're not playing how I think they're going to win games, so I can't see it happening.
Well, Cloud9 picked up the victory. They did it with that Hecarim in the top lane, and although it may not have been the reason for the victory, we want to toss it over to Mark Z to help break down why this pick is seeing play.
Thank you very much, James. I did want to talk about the Hecarim matchup specifically against Aatrox because I think it's a fantastic matchup that I think we should be seeing more throughout Worlds. And so I want to talk a little bit about how it plays. So if we can get into some of the laning phase, Hecarim main ability is his Q, and it actually has a relatively high mana cost at 30, which doesn't sound that crazy, but it has a stacking component where you want to get to 3 stacks before you are fully empowered and the cooldown gets dropped, and that's going to cost you about 90 mana. You throw in your W cost as well, and it starts getting relatively expensive to trade. But what Hecarim does is you're going to take a Mana Flow Band as well as Time Warp Tonic, and you start with Corrupting Pot, so you actually have really good mana sustain. That allows you to get through some of the laning phase problems. Also against Aatrox in particular, you do have Phase Rush to help you get out of some of the ganks, which is what your biggest concern is when you're not taking Flash and taking TP Ignite. And then later on in the game, you actually scale super, super well with Hecarim. He scales well with gold and with levels. So as long as you don't get hard punished by ganks, you outfight him in the early game, and then you often are able to outfight him in team fights as well. And that's why, for me, Hecarim is one of these picks that I hope we start seeing a lot more over the course of the tournament because we have so many great top laners here. Anyways, those are my thoughts on that one unique pick. Now, before we go to break, let's send it over to Shox for an interview with our MasterCard player of the game, Jensen.
Thank you very much, guys. I'm here with Jensen. Whoa, what is going on today? You guys just beat the reigning world champions, Gen G. How do you feel and how did you do it?
Honestly, I'm a bit, I don't know, ecstatic from that game. Like, it was a very hype game, and like, we pretty much just need to win almost every game, or at least 2 of our games to advance. So there was a lot on the line, and I think for me personally, I just wanted to play something where I felt like I had a bigger impact myself. So that's kind of the side we went for against Gen G.
Do you think the advantage you had in the lane, the way you played that lane, and honestly the way you beat Crown, is that what really opened up the game for you guys?
That's how we had all our control throughout most of the game. And yeah, I think we could have snowballed a bit better. But I think, yeah, overall, like, because of the pressure, we had all the control throughout the entire early and mid game, so it was very difficult for them to play the game.
You just said that you were really stressed, but as you say, you still have these other games left to win. I was talking to Attila before, and he said it doesn't matter what people think is going to happen or what the statistics are or the odds are. It's about playing your own game, and I feel like you guys did that today with the Hecarim top and with you on that strong champion. Do you think that's the key also for you guys going forward?
Well, I thought the comps we played in our other games were also like part of our strength as a team, but it just seemed like it didn't work out for us, like maybe due to nerfs or something. So we made a lot of mistakes. So this time around, I played something where I felt like I could control the game much more myself, and I think it played out pretty well for us, yeah.
I mean, it was wonderful. You guys are back on the board. You're still in the game. And unfortunately for that whole EUNA clash, it looks like it may come down to that rematch versus Vitality and also that important game versus RNG. What are your expectations for those 2 following games?
Well, Vitality is looking pretty strong right now, and I think we have a pretty good idea on how they play the game. So it's going to be a pretty bloody game if both teams wants to play these aggressive playstyles. But I think we're the better team.
And finally, can I get some words about the fact that coming into the World Championship and you got drawn into this group and it's like, oh, it's the group of death, this is RNG, Gen G, no matter what. Why do you think everything has turned so much on its head and you guys showed up?
The gap is closing, maybe? I don't know. I mean, I think Korea is not playing as well as they did like in the past. I mean, it could also just be that other regions have improved a lot. It's hard to say, but I think Korea, especially right now, is like not looking too dominant. Besides, KT obviously. So I don't know. I think it's hard to say exactly.
Okay, Well, maybe they just got clapped by Jensen. Who knows? Well, thank you very much. Congratulations. The best of luck in your following matches. Small break coming up for us because Gen G is back on the board versus Vitality in 3.5. Don't go anywhere.